Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. I'm just gonna go straight into because I've been away due to a little bit of traveling back to North Carolina, and my daughter had her prom this weekend, so it's just a lot going on. So I'm sorry that I have not done an update, but I'm going to get my latest update for last week's trade. And I was paying attention to bump based off of it hitting certain areas that I have drawn on the chart. So for those who are new to my videos about my trades, I mark out the green areas as buy, potential buy areas or demand zones. And then I use parallel channels for trend lines. And these gray horizontal block down areas are potential resistance areas, but they're not the highest point of resistance for the whole chart. I usually mark those out in like pink, a shaded pink color. So the trade for last week for was bunk. It took a little while for it to get there, but it was worth 26%. And so it basically hit this demand zone area right here. I did wait for it to come out and then come back. I could have went ahead and went in as soon as it hit this demand zone and made, let's go to the 15 minute, and made bounce, right? Like it made this bounce and then it came back out. But I think where I got a little concerned was like when it did make that bounce, it made a little bit of a lower low, but really what it was doing is liquidating these stops below here. And then it made its way out of there, right? And came up to here, and then when it came back and it bounced and it never came back down here, then that's when I knew it was my signal to go in. So, and I kind of let that one, like this down here in this area, be my potential stop area. I don't particularly do stop losses, not all the time. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. It varies on if I feel like it could potentially like do these major spikes, or it can go liquidate. So most of the time I don't do them. But then there are times where I do, where I feel like, I don't care if it were to take the stop. I think I'll be okay or whatever. So, all right. So that was the trade. It took it was in there. I was in there for a while. So pretty much all week from May 19th, which is Monday, through about Thursday or Friday of last week. And for this week, I am still paying attention to bunk. I'm going to see, like right now, it's staying up under this 50% level. I want to see, is it going to come out of here, come out of this trend, and if we were to go up to the higher time frame, we can see a little bit better what I'm talking about. So, right, and this is that 50% level. I want to see, is it going to like come out of this upward trend line and maybe try to hit back to this demand zone or fall through this demand zone. And I think if it falls through these two green demand zones, we're probably coming all the way down. Let me see. And the best way I can look at that is to look at where it started when it started going up, and just do a quick little fib and take the extension off. Is it on reverse? Let me see. No. How is it? Let me do that again because I'm not understanding why is it. So it came from down here. It went all the way up to here. So it could make its way to this. Let's see what 78% is at. It could make its way all the way back down here. I don't know. I'm not saying it will or won't. But I do know that 50% area up here, let me get rid of this, is resistance. So if it can make it past that resistance, then we might be still heading upwards. If it cannot make it past this resistance area between these two 50% levels, this is coming back down. And then this green area right here is the next demand zone, which is right here, right? So if it were to bounce off of here, it probably is going to go up to the edge of this parallel trend, and that could be worth maybe 10 to 15%. So that might be worth looking at. And then it could not. It could go up to, it could maybe make it up to the 38% line. Let's see where the 20% line is at. So worst case scenario, if it were to bounce off of this demand zone, is about 6%, right? I'm thinking at worst. And I would take that and do like a really, this is where I would probably do a stop loss, but I would wait for a bounce before I enter. Once it makes the bounce, then I would enter. Once it receives my order, then I probably wait a second. Don't immediately put the stop loss on, but see if it, once it starts moving, I would put this, I would think about it. It depends on how I feel and how it's moving also. If it's moving real fast, then I'm not going to put the stop loss on. I'm just going to take my profit. And I might even, do what they call layering the profit. So what I mean by layering the profit, I'll take some out right here, leave some in, take another portion out here, leave some in, and then take the last portion out here. So you could do it that way as well, when you're very concerned about things going into another direction. So that's for bunk. And then I said that XLM and XRP, right? So it made this run last week. I didn't really take that. I went with bunk instead of XLM because I saw that it was probably going to move around the same time, but it was just going to be a greater percent gain. So it's doing the same thing. It rejected it off of this 50% level right now. I probably can move my alert down to above this last candle and see if it's trying to come out of this trend line that's going right here, right? It's been kind of riding that trend line. See, I just want to see if it's going to come out of it. What is it going to do at this demand area? Usually in this demand area, it bounces, but it could be finished bouncing off of that demand or support level. I don't know how strong it's going to hold. Let's look at it from higher time frame. I could see it potentially coming back down here to make like an inverse head and shoulders deal, right? So like if I were to draw out, where am I at? Like right here. So it's like I could see it doing this and then go up. So I could see it. Let me delete that. I could see it coming. That's why I said I could see it coming down to here, even potentially lining up with this candle over here. Maybe even like kind of a little bit below the 100% or down to 127%. And what I might do, if it cannot hold these supports, then I'll draw another one for down here, but I'm not going to do it right now until I see how well it, or how is holding these supports that are already up here. So that is for XLM. Let's look at XRP. Right, so it's come out of this trend line that was holding as support, but it's still in this green support demand area, and it looks like it's rejecting so far that 50% level. It's coming down out of it now. I just want to see, is it going to keep bouncing, consolidating in that area before it comes out, whether it goes this way or this way. I got a funny feeling it's going to come out of down here and take some of these people's stops. So that's it for that. As far as potential trades, I think it probably, if any trades will happen for that I might be interested in, probably will happen near the end of the week, or could possibly happen between, today is Tuesday, let's say Wednesday, Thursday, maybe between Thursday and Friday, just to give it time to like decide which way it's gonna go. That's why I say that. And the last time I was talking about shipping, this was a trade that I took from the previous week chart. So it is coming out. It needs to come down to here for me to be even interested in seeing what it's about. I don't like doing this type of trading because this was resistance area, and I want to see it come out of this resistance area and see what it does when it hits this support area. And what I would do is just kind of look at from here to this resistance area is 55%. I think I can do better with bonk. But if it were to come down a little bit further, look at it. Yeah, it needs to come down a little bit further for me to really be interested, because I would love to see it come down near here. And what I might do is figure out where is the demand zone for this area, which looks like right up in here. So I'm gonna use these candles. So I'll y'all know that this is an area that I probably would be interested in, because from here, right, like we're looking at 15+%. If it goes all the way back up here, 21%. So I would like for it to drop a little bit further. But before I say that, let's look at the daily chart to see what's happening. Yeah, so it looks like it's still overall making a downward trend for the chart. Like it has not exceeded any major highs, right? It actually has a double top up here. It has a little double bottom right here, which is a higher high than these lows right here. A higher low than these over here. So, which is interesting, which means that it could be trying to make its way out of here. So I would pay attention to that. Let me get rid of this off of. Take some of this off. Okay. Right. So it could hit here and start making its way out. Which, if it were to, where would that be? So if it were here and make its way back up to here, so that might be actually interesting. So we'll definitely keep that on my chart, so it will remind myself that, hey, you might be interested if it were to hit here. And but I would want to see it hit here, go up, hit back here, and then try to make it run. Then I would be definitely interested in taking that trade. Let me just check out this one, because this one usually does really well as far as potential. So it has come all the way back down to the 38% level and bounce off of this 50%. So the 38 is for the whole chart, which looks kind of interesting. But let's see. Let's go to the 1 hour. So it's coming out of there. I'll bring this alert down. To here, right above that candle. I want to see this one. I would love to see this one come to down about right here. And then go back up to here. And let me see what that's worth. Like right above the 50% level to this next. So 15 to 18%. 16 to 18%. So that's a good one. Decent one. It probably could even go even further, right? It probably could even go up to here. I still think the shipping might be better. But I will keep my eye on this. Just in case if this happens before shipping can do anything. Because sometimes it's about timing, right? So I want to see it go past here. See if it can go past here, should I say. yeah, past this, which I actually can get rid of this 0, that fib. I can get rid of that one because it went past the 0. So I want to see this to here, like see it come down to here and see if it can bounce, or is it going to come down back to this demand zone, which would be even better if it can do that, which, yeah, would be much nicer, and I would feel more confident about this demand zone than something that's in between two demand zones. So that is pretty much it, and that's all I'm gonna do is just watch these alerts, watch how they react to those demand zones, and see what's the potential gain from that demand zone to the next major resistance area, and which one of them has the best room for profit between those two zones, and which one moves faster, like which one comes sooner than the other one. Because sometimes what you can do is get in one and if it moves really fast, you can get in that one and get out and then hop into another one. And that is pretty much it. One more thing before we go. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has been doing really well. I probably can update I'm gonna just delete this. Let me see how it reacts to this. It looks like it's rejection right there. So, and that will impact Bonk, right? Because Bonk moves with Bitcoin. So I probably need to add an alert right above this candle right here. Add an alert before this last little peak. And take it from there. See if it's, because it looks like resistance consolidation resistance before it tries to make a major move, if it is trying to make a major move upwards, because the next target would be right here around 120,000, right? If it can get out of, make this a support area, which used to be a resistance, right? It used to be a major resistance. That's why I use a pink color to show, but it might actually convert to a support. And that's why I want to know, is it going to go above this candle? If it does, it's probably on its way up. Definitely. And it could come up to here and liquidate and then come back down. Or you can just take your chances after it keeps bouncing off of this area right here. If it bounced off of here again and come out, I probably would go in if I was trying to go back into Bitcoin, because it's also above the 50% level. And that is pretty much it. And thanks. And let me know if you have any questions or comments in the comments. Thanks. Bye-bye.